Snowstorm chances are increasing across the southeast for this upcoming weekend, and this potential extends to other areas along the eastern United States as well. The model guidance is coming into better agreement, and I want to walk you through all the latest information, including those snowfall graphics everyone loves to see, the atmospheric setup driving this system, and the official guidance from the National Weather Service that backs up what we're tracking. Let me start with the European model because that's the gold standard for these setups. Friday morning shows winter weather already trying to break out across western areas of the Deep South and into Arkansas. By Friday afternoon and evening, energy in the upper levels starts connecting, and you begin seeing snow developing across the Appalachian Mountains and points east. Then things get crazy in a hurry. By Saturday, significant snow shows up across the Carolinas, with the blue shading extending from Atlanta through the Midlands of South Carolina to the coastal areas, through Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, and into Virginia. Now, some of you might look at this and think it doesn't appear to be a particularly heavy snowstorm because the colors aren't extremely dark. But here's what makes this setup special. Any snow falling in this pattern will be falling in very cold temperatures. The snowfall ratios will be exceptionally high, much higher than the typical 10-to-1 ratio. We're talking about snow falling in the teens, maybe even low 20s, all the way into South Carolina if this verifies. That fluffy, high-ratio snow piles up incredibly fast. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now let's move on. As we continue into Saturday evening, an upper-level low combines with a developing coastal low to really enhance the moisture. A strengthening 991 millibar low pressure develops, and we could see strong winds accompanying this system. This has higher-end potential written all over it. The European model shows moderate to heavy snow flying around in very cold temperatures all the way down to nearly Jacksonville, Florida on some frames. That's not a forecast yet, but it illustrates the potential scope of this event. The GFS shows a similar scenario, developing a lee trough by Saturday morning that blossoms into a full-blown snowstorm. Snow extends all the way back into central Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. By Saturday night into Sunday morning, it's cranking with heavy snow across the Carolina coastline. The Outer Banks could see exceptional totals with this setup. History shows some incredible snowstorms have hit the Outer Banks, and this pattern favors that region once again. The Canadian model has been remarkably accurate lately. Remember the last winter storm? The Canadian led the way early on when other models had the track wrong, and it verified almost perfectly. This run shows more moisture across the Deep South initially, extending into Alabama and Mississippi. That's significant because more western moisture typically means more energy digging further south and west, potentially creating a bigger system for a more widespread area. By Saturday morning, the Canadian shows a massive snowstorm across the southeast with snow all the way to the northern Gulf Coast, extending to Atlanta, eastern Tennessee, with the epicenter right over the Carolinas and Virginia. It then climbs the entire I-95 corridor Saturday night into Sunday and reaches southern New England, where it explodes into what looks like a blizzard with central pressure potentially dropping into the 950s. That's absolutely outrageous intensity. The AI model runs continue showing similar signals. The Euro AI from this evening dumps heavy snow across eastern Georgia through the Carolinas and into Virginia, then rides up the coastline, delivering a potential blizzard to the northeast. What makes these solutions particularly impressive is what's happening with temperatures. Even on the runs showing lighter precipitation, that precipitation is falling in the low teens. Snow falling at 15 or 18 degrees with high moisture content creates exceptional accumulation potential. Looking at the Ensemble guidance, the European Ensemble shows a 3-inch snowfall mean as far south as Columbia, South Carolina. The signal increases dramatically in eastern North Carolina, where several members are showing historic totals. There's something about this region right here from the Piedmont of North Carolina through the Tidewater of Virginia that keeps showing up as the bullseye across multiple model solutions. The potential for a historic snowstorm in this corridor is real. The chances of seeing over an inch of snow on the European Ensemble sit at 41% for Columbia, 33% for Augusta, 30 to 40% for the Greenville-Spartanburg area, with lower chances toward Atlanta. Eastern North Carolina and Southeast Virginia exceed 50% probability. The GFS ensemble is slightly more muted, but shows the same footprint extending all the way to eastern Georgia. The national blend of models, which the National Weather Service puts significant weight into, is steadily increasing snowfall totals. Over 2 inches now shows up as far southwest as northeast Georgia. The 4-run trend shows confidence increasing with the signal dipping further southwest with each update. Now let me explain the atmospheric setup, because understanding why this is happening helps you understand the confidence level. First, we have the cold air. That's locked in and not going anywhere. Temperature anomalies from Wednesday through next Wednesday show 10 to 30 degrees below average across the eastern United States. For late January standards, when your average temperatures are already at their lowest anyway, this is more than cold enough to support snow at all levels. What's delivering this cold air is consistent troughing over the eastern United States with blocking to the north, dislodging Arctic air into the pattern. We have a spiking positive PNA with strong ridging out west. This funnels reinforcing shots of cold air into the east with energy associated with each surge. The key to this weekend storm is watching what happens with the northern stream energy diving out of Canada. You can see this entire chunk of energy in the trough digging south and potentially getting cut off. The ensemble mean shows this fully getting cut off with plenty of cold air funneling into it. When that trough hooks and takes on a negative tilt, it develops an intense, low-pressure system. There are essentially 2 scenarios in play. One is northern stream dominated, where the upper-level low alone generates significant snow. 2 is a phasing scenario, where energy from the west connects with the northern stream and creates a much bigger opportunity, potentially reaching blizzard criteria in some areas. We're seeing a mixture of both in the current guidance. The positioning question remains critical. You want the energy to dig far enough south and west to affect a widespread area, but not so far that it injects too much warm air into the system. Right now, the models are handling this trough position, and the fail mode would be if the main moisture axis stays too far offshore, leaving the interior with less snow than the coastal areas. Cutoff lows are famously unpredictable. The old saying goes that cutoff lows are a weatherman's woes because they can stall and produce prolonged impacts when nothing is tugging them in either direction. If this system gets fully cut off and stalls near the coast, wild things can happen with persistent heavy snow bands setting up over the same areas for extended periods. The National Weather Service is already highlighting this threat. A 10 to 30% chance of accumulating winter weather covers a huge area from Georgia through the mid-Atlantic. The Weather Prediction Center issued a graphic specifically mentioning a significant coastal winter storm this weekend. They see exactly what we're seeing in the data. One more critical point about the cold. If you live above a certain latitude, you likely will not get above freezing for the rest of January. The extreme cold is not just a brief shot. It's establishing residency across the eastern United States, and that means whatever snow falls from this system is going to stick around. The ground temperatures are already primed for rapid accumulation. Surfaces have been below freezing for days and will remain that way. For those who have been waiting for a real snowstorm in the southeast, this is the setup you've been hoping for. The northern stream energy, the cold air in place, the potential for coastal intensification, all the ingredients are there. The question now is exactly where the heaviest snow axis sets up. Eastern North Carolina into southeast Virginia looks like the most confident zone for significant accumulation. The Piedmont of the Carolinas through Charlotte and into South Carolina has slightly lower but still meaningful chances. And if the energy digs a bit further west, Atlanta and points east could see their best snow in years. Stay tuned as this continues to evolve. We'll be watching every model run and updating you as confidence increases or decreases for specific areas. This one has legitimate potential to be memorable.